Hi, and welcome to another episode of Unsolved. Today's show is about Catherine Davidson, a missing 6-year-old who vanished out of thin air. Or maybe not so much. You watch and let us know what you think. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also click on notifications so that you don't miss one episode in this series. This story begins in 1973 when 6-year-old Catherine Davidson and her family took a trip to the Warren Dunes State Park in Sawyer, Michigan for a picnic. But what set out as a fun family excursion quickly turned into a nightmare because although the trip started with 6 children, only 5 returned. Reportedly, Catherine had not come back with her siblings after they set out on a walk. Her father, Robert, and stepmother, Anna, called the police, but little Catherine was nowhere to be found. Although the youngest member of the family had seemingly vanished, life apparently went back to normal for the couple following her disappearance. In fact, they were reportedly seen laughing, drinking, and socializing with their friends. Odd, of course, but there was no evidence that they had any involvement in her disappearance. Moreover, all of Catherine's siblings corroborated with what the parents told authorities. Eventually, the case grew old, and the world seemed to forget about Catherine. The couple moved the family to Georgia, and soon they had another daughter they named Joy. Then, the family was uprooted to Florida, and it's there they started a small church called House of Prayer for All, with a congregation of 24 at its height. Robert changed his name to Johann Young, while Anna began going by Anna Young. They reportedly followed a strict Old Testament teaching that included punishments of 33 lashes to mirror the punishment of Christ before the crucifixion. Not surprisingly, most perceived the group to be a cult. Anna's reign of terror in this so-called church began when Robert, aka Johann, died in 1988. She was described as being physically abusive to members, and she was allegedly especially cruel to children. If anyone wanted to join the religious sect, she made them turn over their finances and change their names. She wouldn't even allow them to speak to their family members, and if they got out of line, people were tortured and starved for disobeying or falling into quote-unquote sin. By 1992, Anna was running a religious boarding school. Authorities began to find out about her disturbing, abusive, and criminal acts because of what occurred with one of her female students. Her name? Nikki Nicholson, and she was a 12-year-old girl that Anna forced to bathe in bleach as punishment because she had supposedly taken a bath that was too short. Cult members reportedly held Nikki down in the basement as she screamed in agony. She was then tied to a bed while she suffered from severe skin burns. It was her parents who brought her to the hospital when they saw her injuries, and she spent several months in the burn unit, and then countless others enduring physical therapy just to learn how to walk again. Anna was charged and convicted of child abuse, but evaded jail time by going into hiding for years. It wasn't until 2001 that Anna was apprehended in Alton, Illinois. She served 6 months and then relocated to Cobb County, Georgia, where she lived quietly for 15 years. However, something startling happened in 2017 that would send her inconspicuous life into a tailspin. Remember Joy, Catherine's sister who was born after her disappearance? Well, she alerted authorities of crimes that she claims her mother committed. And yes, she also shed light on Catherine's case that had grown cold. Joy told authorities that one of her older sisters revealed to her that the family never indeed went to the park the day Catherine went missing. The truth was that Anna tied up and gagged 6-year-old Catherine and placed her in a closet at their home. Her siblings apparently listened in horror as their baby sister clawed the door to get out. Then, all of a sudden, the noise stopped. When they looked in the closet, they saw Catherine dead, in fetal position. This isn't the only revelation that Joy shares with authorities. There was plenty more. She told them that Anna had murdered a baby whose family was in the cult. She knew him as Moses, but the police later identified him as 2-year-old Iman Harper. These claims were echoed when police spoke with former cult members. They said Anna had beaten and starved little Iman over an extended period of time until he was ultimately found dead inside her closet. Witnesses say that Anna put his body in a large straw hamper and burned it in a fire. She told other cult members that she'd given him away to be raised by monks. In late 2017, Anna Young was finally charged in connection to Iman Harper's murder. If Anna thought her former cult members would stay silent, she was wrong. One man who was in the cult as a child said Anna beat and tortured his 2-year-old sister named Catherine Jackson. Catherine had epileptic seizures, but Anna declared that she was possessed. She even denied her prescribed medication, and she subsequently died. Catherine's death was classified as natural years ago, but after charges were filed against Anna in Iman's case, her death was reinvestigated. On February 18, 2021, Anna Young reached a plea agreement with the prosecution and pleaded no contest to second-degree murder in Iman's case and manslaughter in Catherine's case. She was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Now, some might say that this is not nearly enough for a woman who sadistically terrorized and murdered children. If there is any solace to be had, perhaps it's in knowing that given her age, she will likely die in prison. So many breakthroughs after all these decades, yet one mystery still remains. What happened to Catherine? Anna Young has not been charged in her daughter's disappearance, yet most believe that she knows exactly what happened to Catherine and where she is. After all, she demonstrated to the world exactly how demonic she could be. Perhaps she'll confess, now that she's confined to a cell, stripped of all the freedoms she denied others, with nothing else to do but reflect on all the immoral and hateful things she's done. Maybe. Just maybe. If you'd like to find out more information about missing children of color or how you might be able to help, please visit www.peasintheirpods.org.